Hi Hoopers, welcome back to the Shoesayer. Today we're looking at Jimmy Butler's third signature shoe with Li-Ning, the JB3s. Now these come in this nice looking box. It's kind of like a suitcase, but these shoes are on the expensive side. So it's gonna retail for about $225, similar to the price of the Way of Wade 11s. They do look really good, but we're gonna find out if they play just like they cost. Let's jump in the video. Okay, so one thing I really like about the JB3s is the cushion setup. So of course, this is a premium Li-Ning shoe, so it has full length boom. However, you can't see any of that peeking through the shoe because it is encased in this EVA foam carrier. You still get a little bit of compression in the forefoot and in the back foot, so that feels nice on foot. The shoes are also pretty light, so you feel like you're just sprinting around wearing feathers. Like, this is really comfortable on foot. You might see the stroller board and think, hey, this looks stiff because it's not a typical mesh stroller board, but it does have some give to it and it bounces back a little bit. So I really like that. It's responsive, but also comfortable because it's sitting on that full length boom, right? So this feels very comfortable. For the insole, you get this, which is, I would say it's a bit of a downgrade from what you would get in the Way of Wade 11s. It is on the thinner side of things. It does have some texture here where it does grasp your socks a little bit. And you see that if I zoom this in, I don't know if you can see that, but it is ventilated in the forefoot in a desperate attempt to let some air through the shoe, and also for you to get all the way through to the boom cushion, right? But it is pretty all right, pretty standard, but it's not the best, and you can always swap that out with any insert that you like. But yeah, overall, the cushion is great for, I would say, a guard. Like, you know, most shoes these days, they make them to the point where they're not bouncy enough, and then when they make them too bouncy, it's like I can't feel like the court. Because of this stroller board implementation, you just have this height here, so when you step on the court, you actually feel like it's responsive. At the same time, you don't feel like there's a lot of impact on your knees because the boom cushion does have that give to it and gives you that bounce while you play. Finally, I would say here you have this full length carbon fiber shank plate finished in like some wood grain material. This also makes all the difference because it is sandwiched in between like the boom. So when you wear it, and because it's full length, which you can see here when I just try to hit, you can't really bend that because it's full length. So this gives you that slight propulsion. You always feel like it's edging you to move forward while you're playing. As soon as I put on these shoes, I was trying the KT10s and I swapped this and I felt the difference almost immediately. So I would say for cushion, this has a great cushion setup, and that's one of the favorite things for me regarding this shoe. All right, so moving on to the traction for the JB3s. I played on a court that wasn't all the way dusty, but did have some dust on it. The traction was good. It performed decently, but it did pick up a bit of dust, and I had to wipe maybe like every 3 times up and down the court. I had to wipe it. So in terms of traction performance, I would say it's good, but it's not all the way there. They're using this GCU, the ground control unit, which they use in the Way of Wade 11s. They use that in their new Ushuai series as well. But I find that the implementation is way better in the Ushuais than it is in either the JB3s or the Way of Wade 11s. However, right, they're decent. If it's a clean enough court, then you can have a ball. If it's slightly dusty, then you're gonna have to wipe. But yeah, overall, I would just say it's a good traction performance, but nothing too crazy, I find. Yeah, so as for stability, I would say the JB3s do supremely well for stability. Of course, you have the full length carbon fiber plate with this wood grain finish. Now this has no give, right? If I try to twist it along this axis, there's nothing happening there. You can even see that, you can see all the way, the carbon fiber plate goes all the way to the front. It's a nightmare to bend, but it does feel good when you're actually striding. This shoe is stable. It has, of course, this beefy heel counter with the Jimmy Butler logo. And of course, on the lateral side, you also have this plastic side piece, right? So overall, even the lockdown, right, when you lace it all, that's another thing. Like, this is a ding in terms of like fit, because sometimes it's a nightmare to get these laces out, but when you zip it up all the way, then it kind of like cuffs your foot in. Also the sculpting, you can see there, like you can even see in just like the recess here for your heel. So your heel is always locked in the back of the shoe. Stability is a certainty, it's a given, and it's great on the JB3s. Yeah, so this is another great thing about the shoe for sure. Okay, so moving on to traction durability. This is another area where I feel that the JB3s are a bit below par. I'm not a fan of this ground control unit compound that Leaning has been using in the Way of Wade 11s, and also here in the Ushuai 18s, both the lows and the regulars, and also the high tops. They all have this GCU. It's supposed to be this new compound. It doesn't, fray even on an outdoor court, but I find, especially on the Way of Wade 11, that it started to fray a little bit, and then it's kind of stopped a little bit, right? So I would say, and also the grooves they're not deep, right? They are, I guess, thick because of this pattern, right? But they're not deep at all. And then I just haven't seen enough of this compound to say that it's going to perform great. And my experience is that it's probably going to wear out if you do play on this on an outdoor court. So I would say it's more on the fair side than it is on the good side, right? So I would say, although the traction performance is decent, is okay, the traction durability is not the best for the JB3s. All right, so moving on to the fit of the JB3s. These fit really well. I would say that they're in between, so you should go true to size, but it's almost half a size up, but not to the point where I'm comfortable actually going down half of a size, if that makes sense, right? So it fits slightly longer, but what I would typically do is just wear a thicker pair of socks, and then that would fit me like great. So I would advise you go true to size. It has minimal padding, right? So you can see why, it's sort of designed that way, right? Because you see in the heel, there's minimal padding here, and then in the tongue is also like minimal padding. So everything internally is minimal. So you just have to wear thicker socks. Also, if you do not wear thicker socks, you see this pattern here on the insole, you're gonna feel that on your socks. So if you wear just a slightly thicker socks than you would typically wear, you would be 100% good. The shoes fit really great. So another section I like to discuss is how easy it is to put on and take off the shoes. I would say it's just okay. It would have been great for the JB3s, but it is kind of a hassle to like remove the laces. I always have to pick them out, and then the way it's laced, I have to put significant pressure. I'm even trying to do it right now and it's not budging. Yeah, not to waste your time, but so it's a bit tough to get the laces out, right? So I like shoes where I could just put them on, take them off. But if you want to remove the laces on these shoes, you're gonna have to settle down and start to pick it out one by one. There we go again. Yeah, so I'm just gonna, but yeah, it could have been better. If not, once you have it locked on, it's great, but just taking out the laces, is a bit of a problem for me. So it's just a bit average there, in my opinion. Okay, and then when it comes to weight, that's another place where Leaning is really killing it. These shoes are fluffy, man. They're like some pillows. These are super light. I weighed them at 12.9 ounces, right? That's super light for my shoes, and they feel light. I was playing in the KT10s. I switched to these, and it was I was really happy just because I could move around a lot easier. So this is a very good shoe in terms of weight. Super minimal on foot. All right, so moving on to visual appeal for the JB3s. First of all, I really like this colorway, and I could definitely see myself wearing these for a long time. I like, they're simple. I like the mashup of materials. I like the logo. Yeah, and on hand, it just looks, a lot better than what I saw online when I was buying this in the first place. So definitely visual appeal for these shoes. I would say top. They're really good. I probably have a couple of other sneakers that I prefer to this, so I would just put this on a really good, not the greatest of my collection, but definitely something that I think is visually appealing. But let me know in the comments if you guys are rocking with these, if you'd like to play in these on the court, and some other shoes that you feel might be even better looking than the JB3s. And then for style versatility, I definitely think I can rock these with some jeans, some shorts, even maybe. I could definitely wear these off the court. They do have that kind of aesthetic to it where you can wear them elsewhere. I think these are actually one of the few shoes. I do like the D-Books a lot. I've been wearing those off the court a lot, but let me know what you think in the comments about these as well. Would you rock these off the court, and how would you style them? Maybe I can get some inspiration from you guys. All right, so at this point, we typically talk about innovation. These shoes are great, they're good, but to me, they're very similar to the Way of Wade 11s. They're very similar to, in some aspects, to the Ushuai. It just not in terms of the upper, but in terms of the tech in it. In fact, they all have, this sandwiched, carbon fiber plate. You see that? It's all sandwiched, and then you have boom, of course. This one has exposed boom, and then this one has cage boom and EVA foam. You know, I was seeing like a jump between like Way 10, Way 11. I was seeing that jump, but these feel like if they're great, but I don't see them as very like innovative, right? I don't see what the real change has been. Maybe the wood grain plate coating on the carbon fiber, you know, but yeah, for me, I don't see what the real change has been. So I think in terms of innovation, they need to, especially if they're going to be charging like $250, $225 for these, man, you gotta step your game up. You have to make these consistently new, right? That's the only way you're going to justify these price tags, in my opinion, right? So innovation is just fair. It's just there. I really wish they would show more, right? Don't just stay the same and charge people more money, right? That's why people are even starting to buy more leanings now, because they continue to innovate. So don't stop now. Yes, before I forget, another thing that's a bit comically bad on these shoes is the ventilation, right? So it has leather like throughout the upper, and then you have these like pseudo vents, right? I don't know what, like, look at this, right? That's all the ventilation in the shoe. And here, right? It's actually quite ridiculous. Like, so if you're not playing under air conditioning, or if you sweat very easily on your feet, these aren't for you. You're gonna get, you know, this is like a hot box. So you want to stay away from these if ventilation is a must-have for you. I didn't have any issues because, you know, it gets pretty cold here, and you know, I just played and I don't actually sweat too much on my feet. But however, there's no ventilation, right? Even you see these vents like that, that's a fake vent. Inside the shoe, you're just gonna see it's more shoe, it's more lining, right? So you don't actually get anything through those vents. You know, you do have some of this exposed on the inside, like, but just look at this. It's like, you know, 20 dots or whatever, right? So yeah, so breathability is definitely somewhere that they could have gotten it better. And as light as this shoe is, if they made it breathable and they took away some of the material, it would even be lighter. So just imagine that, right? So I think Li-Ning should consider that. They might release a V2, but we'll see about that. All right, let's talk about the quality of the shoe in terms of materials, right? So first of all, you have leather. The whole upper is leather, so of course that's always premium. When the upper is leather, you have this EVA carrier, you have full length boom, you have your full length torsional carbon fiber plate, you have some plastic pieces on the side, you have your, you know, insole, which is perforated here in the forefoot, is texturized here, just where your foot will stand. It's not the thickest kind of profile, but it is kind of comfortable, and it does have, you know, some bounce to it. Overall, like, the shoe is premium, right? It does feel premium on hand. It's a bit lighter than, you know, sometimes a premium shoe you might want more material, but this has a lot of things stripped down, but still feels premium. Is it worth the price tag? Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, it does have a lot of premium materials, but also materials that you can get in similar Li-Ning shoes as well. So in terms of materials, I will give it, you know, a good score. I would say, you know, it's not also the greatest, just because it could have had a better insole. It could have had more padding here, on the tongue at least, right? Because this can start to dig into your ankle, right? If you don't wear a thicker pair of socks, and then of course your ankle should have those pillows on there. So I would say they should have added a little bit more padding, found a way to make it, to ventilate a little bit, and still make it light, but still make it premium. And of course, this at the back here is nice. This kind of like texturized plastic. This is plastic, but it's made to look kind of like leather. So overall, I would say it's good, but it's also not the greatest, especially for the price tag, but it's pretty good. All right, so when it comes to cost, so these are going to retail for like $225 US to maybe $250 US, so around the same cost as the Way 11s. Yeah, I don't know about these, man. Like, I love them for what they are, man. I still feel they should be a lot cheaper. They should come in a lot lower of a price point. I don't think that, even with the tech, even with the implementations, I don't think that, you know, I should be buying these Jimmys for, you know, that amount of money. So, you know, that's something that I would say, even after reviewing them, I did I just had to buy them because ones came out, twos came out. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna get the threes and see if they're worth buying. They are really nice, but come on, guys, you need to give us these things at a reasonable price point. You know, these shoes are not, they shouldn't cost you know, this much. So overall, affordability, I'd probably give it, you know, it's really fair. Like, it's not good, it's not great, it's not even average. I would just say it's fair. Yeah, so, you know, a lot can be done here, and I think we need to get these shoes at better prices, because these things just keep going on, and I can't see the same improvement in innovation. I can't see the same improvement in materials over each version of the shoe to justify the spikes in the price, right? It's just not adding up for me. So there you have it. It's, you know, if you want to buy this on retail, you know, want to try it out, it's going to drop for about $250 US. All right, so there you have it for the JB3s. A couple of things that are really great. The cushion is really nice. Stability is top notch. It fits really nice. It's also very light, right? Some things that are just good. In general, it has great traction. It does pick up some dust. It is good visually. I like the way they look. You can also look at it and wear these, like, you know, anywhere else apart from the basketball court, so that's a plus. Also, the materials are, you know, premium. They could have done better with ventilation, but still premium materials. And then some things that aren't like all the way there, I would say, like traction durability. This ground control unit, you know, I don't think it's going to be the best on an outdoor court, so you want to watch out there. And also in terms of innovation, we've seen this before at this point. This is just like the way of Weight 11. This is just like the theshoesayer. So you're going to charge us all this money. You have to continue to innovate and make things even better. So that's something that I wish they would do. And also it's a bit on the expensive side. Maybe that's just me speaking, but hey, yeah, that's just my opinion. And then I think the worst thing about the shoes is the breathability, which isn't a problem for me, but most people who play outdoors or who sweat on your foot want that airflow to go through. And then here it's just like, you know, it's shut on all sides, right? So overall, it's still a shoe that I would definitely be playing more in, and I can't wait to really like play around it. Maybe I'll play around it like next couple weeks, and then I might even have a follow-up review for you to show you what I have found. Like some shoes get better with time, and then some shoes actually fall apart. Some shoes just stay the same. So I'll update you with that. But let me know in the comments if there are any other shoes you want me to compare these to. If you have any other questions that I haven't covered in my explanation so far, and just let me know if there's any other videos you would like me to do, period, right? So thank you guys for listening again. You guys have been great, and as usual, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, hoopers.